Hello and welcome in. It's the 25th Silver Cup Pro presented by Discraft and Rollin Ridge. PDGA A tier, and it's a stop on the Wisconsin Disc Golf Tour. And the card is special. We have a new world champion, Paul Oman, on the card with Parker Welck, Kasey Chambers, and Andy Wacha. This is your final round front nine at Silver Creek Park. Sitting right on Lake Michigan, this property is absolutely stunning. So, makes for some good disc golf. The drone footage is recycled from the US Women's here a couple weeks ago, so thanks to DGN for that. Hole number one is a very technical starting hole. You're going to see a lot of people hugging in very tight right where the drone is flying through. It looks wide open from this view, but trust me, it's not. You're going to want to land on the wood chips and hopefully slide up for any sort of look at this. And Paul pretty much did that as good as you can do it. He hugged it as tight as he could, and he still ended up hitting those trees on the left. I did do that yesterday, but it is not ideal. Basically rethrowing. And here is our first look at Kasey. He is from Wisconsin. I don't know how local he is to this course, but he seemed to have a pretty good understanding of this place, and he did say that this was his first A-tier lead card. So, plenty more to come for that for Kasey. But Andy Wacha, I also played in round two. Super cool guy. And another tree hit. So I'm unsure if we went 4 for 4 on tree hits. I know I definitely hit one. So here's going to be my tricky approach. And that's most likely going to be a bogey. He probably has 70 feet to the pin with a bunch of trees in the way. And just an unbelievable par save. Big putt Parker came out early today on hole one. And Wacha will be up next. It might be slightly obstructed from here. And this is kind of that area I was talking about where a lot of people would like to land just to have an open look. And decent attempt. Chambers with the best drive of the group, only getting it to about 40, I want to say. So very, very difficult and tricky starting hole. Everyone's okay with taking pars here. Nope. I mean, what do you guys do in that situation if one is like 3 inches further away than the other, but you're way closer? You just tapping in, or are you going to call him over for him to tap in first? I don't know. I don't know what the proper etiquette is. I've always just gone if I'm closer. Hole 2, just about the only hole that is actually aceable on this layout that we're playing, and it is beautiful. It is running parallel to Lake Michigan, so halfway down the fairway you just look left and you're staring right at the water. It's one of the most beautiful sights you'll see on the course. But at 277 feet, this is kind of a must birdie here with basically a straight shot with a mid-range or a putter. And that one's turned over just a bit. The wind was getting angry at us right about now. And that is how my Tour Series Truth flies in a bit of a headwind. It is a fantastic straight disc. If you're looking for a mid-range, go pick one of those up on dynamicdiscs.com. As Chambers hits a tree, but he didn't look like he kicked too far off the fairway. And Wacha kind of doing the same as Oman, and I think it was the wind, really. I don't think it was anything other than that. Andy with a tough look there. It's hard to get it high enough with that ceiling that he had to go through. And that's annoying. On his follow through, the back foot hits the tree, which can mess up everything. And I got a bit of an annoying branch right in front of me. It was too low to go low and too high to go over it, really, so I'm kind of just tossing it up, and it barely goes in. But we'll take it for sure. Chambers will take his par after hitting basically first available tree. Paul will take his par there, although I know he would like to get that putt back. He's not one to be missing a ton of those putts. And Andy will tap in par as well. So only one birdie on what I thought was the easiest hole in the course. And now we get to a par 4 at 394 feet, but do not let that fool you. Yes, it is an easy hole, but 394 feet does not mean it's a 2, you know? So bunch of trees to compete with. A lot of people are throwing that backhand to try and just get lucky through all the trees. I saw a few people taking the sidearm like I will take here. And that's pretty much exactly what I was going for. Maybe a little left of what I wanted, but it'll be all the way up there. And not high enough to even get over the mound there. Same with Chambers. You know, there is a bit of a ceiling there that you do not want to hit, so it's kind of like you have to find that happy medium, which is difficult to do. And Wacha taking the sidearm as well, and I love the angle. It might have been just a little inside, catches a tree, and now we're scrambling. Oh, clipping some trees up there and dropping. He'll have a long putt for birdie. Chambers catching a lot of the shrubbery coming out, slowing him down. He'll also have a bit of a longer putt. And here I am about 60 feet away down a hill for my eagle putt. And I thought I made it. It was just low. It's hard to get enough power being that far down a hill. And Paul for his birdie. And air balls down the hill. there is water right behind the basket, or I wouldn't say right behind, you know, down a hill, across a path, there is water. So it can be very sketchy to run at this basket. I'll tap in my birdie as the other guys will tap in their pars. And for Wacha, he's got to feel pretty okay with taking a par after hitting 2 trees in a row. So he'll just move on, take that, and hopefully start getting some birdies here. We get to hole 4, 406 feet, dog leg right. There is that Mando off to the right of your screen, so you cannot cut the corner. You basically just want to throw it up towards this red basket, and then you're going to pitch down here and get some speed control and hopefully land near that basket. This one should be pretty easy as long as you get through all the trees on your tee shot. And I think I got a bit lucky there. I was trying to go to the right of that tree. I went like an inch to the left of. And Paul will show us the pure line. Catches the tree, but still pushes through to a great spot. And all 4 of us made it through the gauntlet of the first part of the hole. We should all have pretty wide open upshots going to the pin. And just like that, there's going to be 4 putts for birdies. A couple tap-ins as well. Now we're making this hole look pretty easy, but it mostly comes down to that tee shot. On a few of my other cards, I did see a bunch of tree kicks, kicking straight into the woods and then struggling to get out of there and taking bogeys. So it all comes down to that tee shot, really. And here we go, hole 5, 355 feet, and this hole is tough. You have that Mando on the right, and there's really no way to get to the basket unless you get really lucky, but you want to land right about here and then give yourself like a, I don't know, 60-foot putt at best for the birdie. There's not really a pure line to get to this basket unless you throw a sidearm flex, which is a little tough. Couldn't see it. Sounded like he caught a tree coming in.
Go, go, go. Yeah.
And a bit of an early release, but gets through everything. That is the way to throw the hole. I consider this hole to be 90% luck, really. And there's not a lot of holes out here on this property like that. This is just one of 2, I believe. And great bid by Paul. This is definitely a bonus birdie. If you get this one, you're definitely taking strokes on a lot of folks. Oh. Tough spot being behind all those trees.
Yeah, dude.
And Andy getting through all the trees on the early release hyzer, gets all the way up there and takes advantage, grabs that birdie. I have a little bit left here on my par putt. Solid putt, really. It's definitely tester range at that 20 feet, 25 feet-ish area. I know every one of those is going to matter. And Chambers is going to tap in here for his par. And same with Oman. And I think this is the most iconic hole on the course. Hole 6, par 4, 439 feet. The way to get the eagle is through the trees, kind of lucky, not gonna lie. But if you just want to take the birdie, you're gonna take the route the drone flew, land on that path, pitch up about 100 feet, and tap in your birdie. I think this hole definitely was playing on the easier side, and I'm not exactly sure how many eagles this one had. I would imagine maybe 2 to 6 for the event.
Oh, the hidden one.
And I hit the tree behind the tree you want to miss. But I got a decent kick out to the right. Love it. That is a great shot for the birdie. Or maybe if he's close enough, he'll have an eagle look. We'll see. Chambers was torquing that one over. That thing was overstable, but a little low. Bit of a tricky upshot here. Catches some trees, and we'll see what he's got from there. It looks like a bit of a longer look, and in this wind, we'll see if he decides to lay up or not. Andy decides to take the easy birdie. Don't blame him. It's a cool little tree there. Nice shot by Terry Miller. And I think Paul wants this eagle. It's hard to get around or over that big tree, so Paul will settle for the birdie. Along with, should be Andy. Yep. And little pro tip here. I was a little scared about the headwind on the raised basket, so I threw my mini down to get a little closer, turned my putter upside down so that when it hits the chains, it falls down and can't get blown out of the basket. So, little pro tip there. If you ever need to use that, go for it, but definitely practice the upside down putt before you try it in tournament play. Chambers will be our only par here. For sure going to be losing some strokes on the field, taking a par on this hole, but he's a good enough player to get it back on all the other holes. Hole 7 is 322 feet. kind of tricky. There is a bunch of these bushes that are really tall now, so you got to get it high enough, and the backhand is such a touchy play. You're either going to see like something that flips over just slightly the entire way, or just a chop over sidearm and have it come back to the right.
Nice shot.
And it hits the pole. I'm going a little bit higher. Should be right there, about 15 feet. And this is one of the prettiest disc golf shots in all of disc golf. The baby turnover with a slow moving disc. Heck, any disc.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, come on.
Ring it up. Oh my goodness. Looked barely short. And Paul will be the furthest out at about 15 feet or so.
Oh, it's under it. There you go.
I'll tap in my birdie. And we should see our first star frame of the day. As Wacha will tap in from underneath it. Don't hit your head. Nice drives by the crew there. Hole 8, 512-foot par 4. You want to stay in the center of the fairway on this hole. It'll give you the easiest chance to get through this tight gap going towards the pin. And you'll see a lot of people throw, as hard as they can off the tee and get ever so slightly off the fairway, and makes the upshot incredibly difficult. So I think just taking like a medium speed disc, maybe like 11 speed or something like that, and just throw it up the middle. Something smooth is probably the best play here. But I don't do that. I throw it as hard as I can, of course. And potentially the best drive of the weekend there. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's a perfect shot for this hole. You just throw something smooth and straight. That's all you need. Nice. Chambers gets through everything as well. But being off center, it makes it a little more difficult. There is some sneaky gaps to the right side. But for the most part, you're going to see people trying to go up the middle here. Yeah, great shot there. And I was so impressed with that shot. I even went up to him. I'm like, dude, that was very impressive. He had such a tight gap, and if you hit any of the trees, you're just dropping. And here I am, jump putting my truth, trying to get a highlight play. For eagle. Had the height and distance, just a little too far right. Decent bid by Wacha, but over there it's kind of, you're just kind of poking through the trees. Hopefully you have a gap. Maybe you don't. It's a little tough on the right side back there, but Chambers will take his birdie after a great second shot. I have about 13 feet. Paul making that look so easy. He went straight, slow disc, birdie. So I really like watching him play. He's so smooth. And hole 9, 501 feet. I don't think you're going to see a lot of people going for the eagles here. I think a lot of people are going to be throwing spike hyzers short of the cart path, road, whatever you want to call it. And then most likely just a sidearm up towards the pin. Give yourself a look for the bird. And we call that landing in the garden. That's a term that I think we should all start using, is landing in the garden, when you throw like a shot where and it lands exactly where you want to be to get the birdie. You guys okay with that? Let's do it. We'll call it that from now on. And Wacha going for a bit more distance as opposed to getting left. And does that stay in bounds? It does. So he'll be in a great spot. Oh, and what a dud skip. Chambers also hits the same tree Paul hit. And I also got that same tree. I said it was annoying and everyone laughs. Well, let's see if we'll make it 4 for 4 here. Nope. Great putt by Paul. His follow through, I'm looking at it now, and his leg is almost at his head height. You guys can go back and rewind his follow through. I think that's pretty cool. And just right side. Some solid birds by the crew there, minus my par. But we'll tap in, and that's it for the front 9. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at DiscGoat. And that's our leaderboard for the front 9. We are all tied up at the top. It's going to be a dogfight on the back 9. We'll see you there.